don't like it, but
Are we live yet?
I
Is
think
it?
we are live. My Zoom is saying we are live.
Are you switching to the French accent now?
That's just how I speak.
We are live. Great. Hello.
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 Hey, Sage. Hey,
Hey
Baptiste.
Thibaud. Hey Baptiste.
Hey Thibaud.
Thank you for joining me in this edition of the weekly Wagtail review. Um,
Weekly Wagtail review.
Ta-ta.
Give us a better jingle.
That's
No?
the best you can get. You mean
Oh,
there's something better than that?
I know you love the Django chat jingle, Sage.
I think it might be copyrighted. I don't know.
Do you watch Django chat as well, Baptiste?
I don't think I've seen a single episode. Is that when a bunch of dudes come to talk about Django?
It's not just dudes. That's not fair. I think they're really good actually at having a diverse range of panelists. But the key hosts, I suppose, are dudes. It's only the guests that they get to mix and match a bit.
The guests are usually the best part of any internet. Uh,
Are you the guest today?
that was the joke.
We're always
Thank you, thank you.
glad to have you. Um, what are we doing today? Sage, tell us.
Oh, well, I think you said the title just now.
Yes, I did. PRs.
PRs and issues
Are we doing
triaging.
are we doing PRs or issues first?
Oh, I mean, looking at the PRs count on Whitetail, it has gone up since last time, I think. We're no
Let's.
longer under the 100 mark.
Oh no, the critical below 100 mark. Can you tell us what we care about? Why we care about being below 100, Sage?
Well, I mean, ideally, we would like to get in as many contributions from other people as we can, right? And yeah, the more the number means that we haven't got around to merging them, or at least closing them if we don't want to merge them. So that means we have contributions waiting for reviews, and that's not ideal because we want our contributors to get their code in, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, fundamentally it's about contributor experience, making sure that um, people who invest the time to work with us um, make it as smooth as possible. But it's definitely challenging for a project like Wagtail. Yeah, 110. It's definitely been higher in the past, but also much lower recently. I think we almost reached 90, right? As of like a
I
couple of
think
weeks ago.
we might even hit 89.
89. Oh my God.
Maybe.
Do you keep tabs, Baptiste, on like pull request counts on projects like this? Do you think it matters much as like a signal of project health or whatever?
I mean, it's a tight balance, right? Because a project with zero pull requests is like, well, nobody cares. But a project with 2,000 open pull requests,
Nobody
is,
cares either. Well,
well,
the
or
maintainers don't.
sometimes you care too much, and then like you get paralyzed by the amount of like it just seems completely daunting to try and claw back.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
so it's tricky.
yeah. This insights view from GitHub, I think, is a good summary of where we're at, which is that we do have lots of PRs merged on a regular basis by a few people, but there's definitely way more people opening new PRs. And I guess right now in particular, we suspect we are seeing a lot of interesting contributions from people expecting to join the Google Summer of Code program that is coming up in, I believe about like 2 months. We'll be starting like official contributions from people around specific product ideas. Um, but well ahead of the official timeline, people already are trying, I suspect, to build up their contributor profile basically on those projects. Um, I don't know if we have anyone watching this right now who takes part in Google Summer of Code. Um, we do have like a public expression of interest thread for our potential participation this year. And the only thing to do in there is submit the form that we have at the top. And there's already 250 people who have submitted that form. So there's definitely interest out there. Uh, yeah, how much it correlates with what we're seeing here, I don't know, but I suspect it does. Should we look at a few pull requests? Maybe let's
Sure.
start simple and look at this one that's just been approved. And we can switch over to something that hasn't been approved yet. Maybe I can ask you both to pick one that you think is interesting to look at together. And once I'm done with this one, we switch to yours. How about that?
What do you mean by interesting?
I'll let you be creative, Sage.
Okay.
Oh, you're the one who approved it. Okay. Hmm. Yes, so this pull request I opened yesterday, so I know it pretty well. First steps of triaging for something like this would be to add the labels, but since I'm the one opening it, I already did that. I think I might have missed a needs review label, which is what we use to, um, I guess, denote the status that the pull request is in. And yeah, Sage already picked it up, and you have some feedback. Um, reuse existing variables. Root doc. Oh, I suspect, Sage, that the Sphinx root doc isn't gonna be aware of read the docs.
Maybe, but it says it's used for the path to function, and if you click on, if you go back to the PR, the line just above the
Use this
path
path
to,
to
and if you look at the vendor website, that static file is hosted under the um,
version.
language and version. Yeah.
Okay, so you're definitely right. Um,
Well, I haven't tested it, so
yeah, I'll do that. Um, and I think it's the kind of thing that I definitely don't think I need to test locally. I'd much rather see the preview in our read the docs preview environment. So I'll make that change and we'll see what happens. So we'll mark this as needs work. It definitely works as is, but might as well make it right. How did you know about root doc? I'd like tried to look this up and just couldn't find the variable.
it took some time to find the right page on Sphinx, but your code where you put page name, um, I guess that put me in the right direction because I need to get a list of all the available variables in the context by default. And yeah, I tried to look for like URL or something similar, or like also I know about this path to function, so I looked it up and see whether it could be used for the same thing.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Um, so that's our triage done, and yeah, I'll take a look at the proposed changes, and hopefully, um, we'll be able to by the end of this stream test the new version and merge this.
I
What
just
do you have?
realized even sorry,
Yeah,
I was a bit distracted by GitHub's UI. It kind of uh, it kind of has the dynamic uh, saving of the labels state, right? But when you change the labels while you after you scroll down, it disappears and it went back up because I think the UI state is refreshed from the server. So if you
there.
maybe if you reload the page and then you scroll down, wait, I thought it was. Is it not sticky? Oh, you were interacting with it. Never mind. Yeah. So if you have it open and then you scroll down, I think. Wait. I swear I saw it all the way down. It was there, but okay, never mind.
It's just A/B testing gaslighting.
Entirely possible. And my refined GitHub has also been in the way a few times. One of the ones that I spotted recently is refined GitHub, the extension. It has this approve now UI, like the YOLO mode, and that's definitely not something that GitHub itself has. Let's skip all reviews and just make it as easy as possible to hit approve. Anyway, do you have a PR for us, or should we look at the next one in the list?
Well, I mean, this one
Small typo,
is
great.
a quick one.
And you've already
I think
reviewed.
I think this is a great example of like a pull request where doing it yourself as a maintainer would take orders of magnitude less time than trying
Yes,
to get a contributor to do it.
yes,
Because
exactly.
the contributor correctly identified there's a typo, but like it's like a 3-character fix, and 2 of them are wrong. Essentially, it should have been just a 1-character fix.
Oh,
But
we can get it done. Look, Baptiste. 3, 2, 1. I can edit the pull request.
yeah, but like that's exactly what I mean. It's very easy to do it yourself. You can edit pull request, you can push to the branch, you can push a commit, you can just like do it in your own pull request. But how much of an investment do you like on the contributor do you make? Do you want to teach them how to
Oh,
edit their pull request? Because a lot of people who are new to GitHub or even Git, like they don't really know that you can just make another commit or and so as maintainers, you have to uh, spend some time. Like part of your responsibility as a maintainer, I think, is to educate new contributors and to bring it back to everyone's favorite topic. I think in an age of LLMs and AIs and stuff, I think it's kind of a it broke something in there because if you saw someone making big requests and responding to changes, you could assume that they were interested in learning things. But nowadays, it's hard to distinguish between an LLM generated pull request and then you want to invest time in teaching a person, but you're not actually teaching a person. It's just sometimes people are gonna take your feedback and put it straight back into their favorite LLM, and everyone is a loser here, right? So I think this is in this case, my spider sense is like this is probably a genuine person who's making contribution, probably not LLM assisted. And I think Sage's comment is very good, but I find it typical of like this, or I think it's a good demonstration of like being a maintainer is often a very like there's there's no tech involved here. It's mostly about communication and willingness to teach people because you never know who's going to be a future contributor. My first contribution to open source was to Django, and I fixed a 1-character typo in the error message. I still remember this was my intro. And I'm sure it took the maintainer more work to baby me through the contribution process rather than fix it themselves. But sometimes the investment pays off, but it's a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, well said. And also, yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I just left the PR as is, because I would usually, in this case, it's clear what the next steps are to get the PR to be in a good enough state to be merged. Um, I would wait like a few days for the contributor to make the changes and um, for me to merge it, because but if it's a regular contributor or someone who has contributed in the past, it's usually like they would be happy with the changes anyway. So I would just do it and get the thing merged because they've already known they already know how to contribute. Right? And in this case, this is this person's first PR. Well, there's actually a bit of background to this. If you look at this user's PRs to Wagtail, there have been a few. It's just this is the one that is close enough to be merged.
I think I've seen that name on Slack as well.
Yeah, but the previous PRs, I just don't understand what exactly they were trying to do, to be honest.
Yeah. So you would rather they come back to it even though it's that simple of a change?
The thing is, the it's because that's the only thing that the PR changes. If it changes a few things, like a lot more things, and then there's just this one bit that's preventing it from being merged, I would fix it immediately. But in this case, like like what Baptiste said about it being a 3 character change and 2 of them are wrong. So that's like more wrong than right. So you want them to at least learn to make better pull requests next time?
Yeah. I feel the same, but I feel like personally, if it seems like I can get it right with not much extra time compared to just providing the feedback, I'll probably provide the feedback like you do and just get it over the line. And I would assume they would learn the same amounts that
Also,
way.
I think what I want to see is at least for them to respond and see the suggestions that I made. So it's not just like, uh, I don't know what's happening behind the screen, but there's a chance that somebody will, let's say, if they made this pull request and then I fixed it and then I just merged it, they would think they didn't like that pull request was good enough as it is to be merged. So they had a different idea of what is the level of quality that we want. Because like yeah, they if they didn't see this review comment and they just see it as merged, that's yeah, I don't want them to get the wrong idea.
Okay. It is
I,
triaged.
I agree with Sage. Also, one thing I wanted to point out is that the what they're fixing is not such like it's not a huge deal, right? Um the it's not a broken link. It's not preventing anyone from working. Like we
Yes.
wrote, or someone wrote panels group in some panel group. You know, it's obviously it's an error, but it's not really preventing anyone from working or it's not breaking. So I think giving it some time is the right call here, and seeing if the contributor responds and training people to get in the habit of following up on pull requests. We see this a lot, I think, as maintainers of people who make a pull request, you write a comment and then they never come back. And so using this a bit of as a test of like, are they going to see that you wrote a suggestion? Do they know how to commit suggestion? Do they, I think this is a good exercise in being a good citizen and understanding how pull requests work. And I, I think giving it some time before intervening is the right call, even though it takes more time now. I think the hope is that it will save time in the future with this contributor.
Amen.
But
Let's switch to the
it's
next
tricky
one.
because it's like it's such a tiny pull request, and then obviously
Yeah,
Sage has thought a lot
by
about
leaving
this,
and
and
by
you're
leaving
like,
that comment, you might as well have done it already, right? It would have taken me less time to make the change and merge it than writing out that comment.
yes, there's so much invisible work. Like from if you just see the pull request, you don't see all this work of thinking about do how much investment am I willing to make? Like you're trying to imagine how it is from the other's perspective. You're trying to guess their level of experience. So there's a whole amount of work that's invisible here.
We have another documentation change that has gone through a similar process of suggesting some changes, and the person has come back to it. That would be interesting. I don't know how much we want to look at the details of the feedback back and forth. I think I'll just put the link in the chat for people who want to look at this in their own time without being distracted by my scrolling up and down. I see we have lots of people watching this, so definitely feel free if you have comments along the way, reactions. Joel, it's good to see you, Joel. Joel is definitely one of those contributors who we're very happy to have spent time with, because, I don't know, just quality work, great values alignment. Sage, have you seen the issue that this pull request is about before?
I think so, yeah.
I'm surprised what's going on here. Why does the diff...
It's usually because of Windows CRLF versus LF line endings.
Line endings. What's the simplest way to fix that?
In your text editor on the bottom right, there should be an option to convert
Ooh.
the line ending.
But would it go away here if you hit the white space changes?
Probably would, you're right.
Really?
But isn't there, don't you have a linter that checks for line endings?
We have a linter, and we also have, I believe, an editor config file that is responsible for. Oh, sorry, typing the wrong thing. Responsible for making sure people's IDs are configured for line endings. But it's always possible that someone uses way to edit the file that doesn't support this tooling.
Or an LLM.
I think it's the same as like if it was human generated, some LLMs will know to respect the editor config and some will not. I don't necessarily suspect LLMs to use like Windows line endings. Probably what would happen is, yeah, anyway, I don't want to speculate too much. I think this might be a bit too involved actually for us to review in a triage session like this. Unless you want to invest the time into it, how do you feel about it?
I think I would rather review it separately.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, just adding the labels. Seems like all the information is there for it to proceed. It's just
Maybe
like
add the label reference index. Oh, it's already there, sorry.
way ahead of you.
For me, I also want to say that as a contributor, I often try to minimize my diff. So if I open a pull request, I will always go look at the diff view and make sure there's no noise. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but like I think it really helps the reviewers to try to make sure that in the diff, in the files changed tab, only relevant changes show up. If you see something that shows up there that you didn't intend or that isn't relevant here, I would try to find a way to remove it before asking for a review.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, you really should review your own PR before asking for people to review.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't know what it means to review your own PR.
Yeah.
But I
That's
think
true.
trying to minimize the changes is always good advice,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I mean, in addition to the noise when reviewing, we also have a really strong need for a clean Git history. not like it has to be clean at all costs, but if we can catch things as part of the contribution process, it's definitely worthwhile. This seems like another one where there's plenty of feedback for the person to get back to in due time. And I see there's feedback from our colleague Matthew already. So I think this is just a matter of adding the right labels. Always like to compare with the issue as well, see if we use the same labels here and there. What do you think if I started to use AI to automatically label all of the incoming issues and pull requests? Would that make you happy or sad?
I need to see how accurate it is, I think. I'm
Yeah.
not sure which one is more useful. Not which one is worse, I guess. Not having the labels or having incorrect labels.
What do you think, Baptiste?
Well, how do you use labels in practice?
Good
They,
question.
they look cool, like it's very colorful, but are they part of your process?
Um, so I think for pull requests, it's really most important to use our status labels that in this kind of triaging sense, you then know whether to invest time into a pull request based on whether there's work expected from a maintainer or from the person making the pull request. For the issues, the like thematic areas, components, labels we have are much more useful to triage what is quite a big backlog, so that you can find common themes. Or if someone asks me like, "Oh, I really wish API support was better in Wagtail," then I can find the relevant label and get a really strong sense of exactly what type of improvements they might be after. I'm sure this is, like really obvious, but we do have many people suggesting the same things or reporting the same issue multiple times. So being able to access those past reports is really crucial. Yeah, so, practically speaking, it's something that is really useful, but does take a lot of time, like probably on the order of a minute per issue, a minute per pull request. We have on the order of, I'd say probably like 30 pull requests and issues per week, maybe a bit less, maybe like 20. So 20 minutes per week, it's not nothing, but times a whole year, it does add up. And I think to Sage's point about labels being wrong, definitely humans get it wrong pretty often as well. Yeah, does that help?
I mean, with the AI, the risk is, or not the risk, but I think the motivation is often that you want to solve a task that takes you a lot of time. And usually, if you're going to use AI, it's because you don't care too much about SH's errors, or it's not something that you find you can't uh, you can guarantee its correctness, so you can't use it for things where it's very important. But as you say here, humans also make mistakes. Uh, if those mistakes can easily be corrected by a human, uh, and if there's no risk that, for example, it would close issues or give them a category that would make it, disappear into the ether, never to be seen again. That could be like if an AI incorrectly labels an issue and then no human ever get to see that issue again, it could be a problem. I'm not sure what processes you have where it could happen. So in this case, it could be a good use case if you think it saves time and the potential for negative outcomes is low. Maybe it's good one. Maybe it's also worth to do a time box try out, like try it for months and then reevaluate.
Yep.
How would that work in practice? Is this a feature GitHub provides, or would you write a custom bot? Or
They have some like R&D to implement this. They have this thing called continuous AI. I guess the naming here is to parallel this with continuous integration, where you have like AI helping you continuously with different aspects of the project. And one of the like R&D things they do under that umbrella is automated triaging, like adding labels. Um, yeah, there's three things under the continuous triage: label, summarize, respond. Label, at least to me, it is pretty clear that AI can do it just as much as good or even better as humans. I don't agree with you, Baptiste, that it's necessarily worse because it's AI. Summarize, and respond to issues, definitely not. Definitely humans, I would assume, would do a much better job at that, even if it takes time. Um, I think right now, like there's some automated support in GitHub Actions as well, based on simple keyword matching. Like, oh, if the issue mentions API, we can add the API label, but you can clearly see how that's just way too basic to be worthwhile. Yeah, I'd love some kind of AI detected in the PR label as well. Sage, you're very generous to let this PR be, because it's definitely not the right fix. In addition to
I
it,
was really tempted to just close the PR,
yeah, this is why
but
we do triage together, because one of us can be like, nope, we have to spend our time elsewhere. Yash, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. This is just like not helpful. It, at least from my perspective, without knowing, it looks like something that someone put very little effort into. They just asked their LLM to fix an issue from our backlog. And really, what's missing from this more than anything is some sense that it's actually a solution that's been tested, and that we're not arriving on this just on a hunch, like an AI would have no problem pretending like, oh, definitely 300 milliseconds, that has to be the answer.
but they check the box that they verified that it fixes the issue.
Yeah, they checked the box. Thank you. Yeah, I
but how? There's
yes.
no screenshots, no video, no screen recording, and mind you, headless setup with Wagtail is not as easy as just starting a new Wagtail project. So for a new contributor, I'd really like to see how they set it up, because I'd also like to uh, reproduce the issue locally, because I haven't been able to reproduce that issue. Even the reporter said so.
That's one of the things I find the most useful in a pull request or contribution or even a review is just saying what you've done. So you don't just say, "Oh, I verified it works," but you said, "I verified it works by doing this." Or if you're using an LLM, maybe include the prompt. Say, "I've used an agent, an LLM to help me with this. Here are the prompts I use." Because as a reviewer, you essentially want to reproduce what they have done. And if you withhold that information, you kind of you push a lot of the work onto the reviewer. Either the reviewer is going to have to duplicate some of the work you've done, or just try to guess. Uh, and people telling you what they've done, it's like a superpower. It's like much
It
easier
is
to review.
it is a superpower. First step here will be to reproduce this issue. I would recommend. Yeah, so definitely, like, I'm not opposed to someone using AI for this. Just, sharing the right information at the right time, giving us more confidence that, as you said, Baptiste, we're not gonna, like, they don't offload too much of the actual work of checking what happens to us. Um, Good confidence, it's the only option. It's okay. I think language could be a bit better here, but
You mean using like a superior language to English?
I mean, just like I'm not super precise because I'm rushing about a bit. Um, what's next? Do we just keep going top to bottom? I'm
Let's look
skipping.
at the oldest pull request.
Oh God,
Oldest, by
Baptiste.
oldest, you mean
Ooh, yes. Which
at the
kind of
time of
oldest?
creation or last activity or the age of the person submitted it?
The age of the person submitting it.
Let's look at the actual oldest. I'm interested because I rarely look at pull requests by opening date. Oh, it's Scott. I don't think this needs triaging, Baptiste, though. It's clearly needing of work.
There are sometimes easy wins in old tickets or open requests in that sometimes they've just been fixed since then. Or like this one, for example, Circle CI, sometimes it's fixing something that you don't use anymore. So they're very easy to close. But
We
Yeah,
still use Circle CI though.
yeah, we definitely do. You underestimate how good we are at triaging old stuff, Baptiste.
well, I wasn't commenting for Wagtail specifically, just like a
Yeah, so I guess something like this, definitely a good one. Um, I actually really like this because it's something else that we do pretty often that I think more projects should do, which is cut our losses a bit. And Signal is definitely still something we'd like to solve, but as an issue, so that it gets other contributors more aware of it. Um, I think this is like potentially really valid work, but seems really unlikely that it's going to go ahead in the current state. And someone else might be more keen to take it over if it was more visible as an issue. So I think I'd probably want to do that. Does that sound okay? I'm
Seems
not
like it's
hearing
going
much
to be
objection.
very prime for AI fodder.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the AI could be really good at this because it requires very careful looking at the Circle CI docs, and the AI probably can find the docs and produce the relevant code. I'm actually really hopeful, Sage, that someone will vibe code the fix to this.
I just hope that they review the changes before they submit it.
But we have CI for that, no?
Yeah, but I don't want it to be just someone putting the prompt to an LLM and then just submitting the PR as is without knowing why or like
Oh, this really makes me
the
wanna do this
baseline.
now.
I I mean,
Have you ever
yeah.
like opened an issue on a project and felt like, oh, should I just give this to the LLM now?
No, no, I think it's fine to have the issue. I'm just saying that it's pretty much inevitable that we'll get PRs that are AI generated. And So it might be good, you know. It really depends on the person submitting it, whether they took the time to understand what they end up submitting, or whether they just took the LLM output as is, and then it will be on us to review.
Yeah. I'm hopeful for this because I think one, the LLM can be quite good at this, finding the relevant docs in Circle CI and linking to them in the pull request, but also just generating the more correct code from it. And two, also it'll be very damn obvious when the thing runs whether the changes are correct or no. You just need to submit different pull requests and see which ones go through or not.
And the nth PR will get it right.
I sense some hesitancy on Baptiste's side.
Oh, there's no hesitancy. I just have a different opinion.
Do you want to elaborate?
I think we use, or I shouldn't say we, but the way I see LMs being used is kind of a abdication uh, of you caring. Like there's a Sage mentioned, like opening an issue here is opening for AI slop, so you're going to get multiple people submitting a pull request that is going to use time from the maintainers, and those people are just going to, one shot whatever. There's no one wins anything here. Everyone loses time, and then maybe someone else will provide a little better. They will actually review the code, try to make it try to run it, but then I think you kind of abdicate on you understanding how things are going to work, and it might work now, but then you commit yourself to never having anyone on your team who understands how it works, who knows where to go find information in a Circle CI docs in the future when something changes. And you kind of commit yourself to, oh, I guess the AI is in the future is always going to be able to update things because you will not have the skill to do it yourself, or you will not have a contributor who has the skill to do this themselves. So for me, I view this as giving up in a way. And giving up on the assumption that we'll always have the AI models to do the work for us. And I don't know if that's a assumption that can be made. Prices might change. It's still unclear whether, yeah. So it's tricky. I don't know the problem at all. I know that it's trying to decide when and when not to run things is very tricky. There's some really subtle bugs because you might think, if I have something that links my HTML, I only need to run when the HTML changes. But then you also want to change if the linter's configuration changes. And it's often these kind of really subtle things where it's never as easy as checking the list of files. You know, you might only want to run your Python code tests if Python files have changed, but maybe some of these files depend, or they load the text file, they have test fixtures. And it's the kind of bug that's going to work 99%, and then on the 1%, it's not going to work. And that's going to be very hard to track down with potentially catastrophic effect where if you skip CI, you might put things in production that are broken because the CI didn't trigger. So it's tricky for sure. I think it's, as always, it's a balance of maintainers' time, maintainer skills. Where do you want to build your skills? Where do you want to say, okay, this is not a skill I need to build. I would rather have the quick and easy fix now that an LLM will provide. It's I think each project, each developer have to find where they put that balance.
Right. So I think basically the big part of this is defining appropriate files in this title, what would you, how would you decide which files are deemed as appropriate as things that should trigger a CI run? If it's just a matter of setting up conditional runs of the CI, like um, the configuration to make it um, conditional, I'm sure AI can do that just fine. But defining which files would trigger what jobs, for example, that's that's the thing that I, without even defining it on the issue, how would the AI know? Because even us, we still don't know how the exact definition of that.
Good wisdom right there. I don't think I'm giving up on understanding the nuances of Circle CI completely, but I definitely think that I'd like another contributor than me to do the bulk of the research.
Yeah,
And I
that's the
definitely,
important bit. Like the research done by humans, not just blindly accepting what the LLM
oh yeah, 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 but I
gives you.
definitely think it's research that could be helped by
Yeah, yeah,
LLMs.
I know that. Like if I were to do this, I would definitely make use of AI to help me find things on Circle CI and like give me starting points. But I would still need to do the bulk of the research on how it's best, like how what's the best way to apply this on our repo and with our set of files. That's the bit that I don't think you can just rely on AI.
Yeah,
And it
definitely.
would also be tricky for new contributors if they don't understand the files that we have and the CI setup. So yeah, it's quite likely for, well, given what we've seen on GitHub, it's likely that some people will just ask AI, take whatever it outputs, and make it a PR without doing the research. So yeah, that's my main hesitancy. I'm not saying that you should never use AI for this kind of task. Like, I would personally use it.
Yeah, it's a fine balance to find if you want to use AI, exactly where to trust it. I don't know how much you want to go in that tangent, but there's this article that I read recently that I found very illustrative. We're not going to read the whole thing together right now. I just want to show you one image from the article, which is this one right there. That's the stages of AI adoption for coding. Figure 1, you type the code in your IDE. Maybe you have some autocomplete in there now and then. Then you have your coding agent on like a third of the screen, and you accept, reject its changes one by one. Same thing, but YOLO mode. Just let the agent do whatever it wants and hope for the best. Then you end up editing the code less and less. Coding agent takes over like two-thirds of your screen, metaphorically. Then you're not even looking at the code anymore. You're in Cloud Code with a similar workflow, but no manual editing of the files ever. Then you have 3 in parallel. Then you have way more in parallel. Um, so I guess depending on the view that you have of how and where AI could be used, you decide where on that spectrum you want to be. I do feel like even with the later stages of the spectrum, there's clearly still room for humans in the loop, but it's definitely way more of a strategic level where, like, paraphrase what you said, Baptiste, you probably definitely care less about the solution and your understanding of the solution at that later stage. It's just like coding is a means to an end, I suppose. And
You also probably get paid less if you're at figure 8 than if you're at figure 1.
do you think?
I think AI is a big descaler where it's going to make the coders more easily replaceable. I think it's a very big labor issue in the weights.
Yeah.
especially in the market right now where there's been a lot of layoffs. I don't think it's coincidental
Yeah.
because essentially at this point, the key part is your Claude Code subscription. Who pushes the buttons to make Claude do what you want? Does it matter?
Yeah. I don't want to like project too much on the job market because I do find it really hard to predict. But um, at least coding wise, it's definitely a very different job if in air quotes all you do is kind of like architect and delegate the tasks to the machine. Though it does take some kinds of skills to have a good sense of how to architect things so
Yeah.
you can delegate those tasks to AI
But
coders.
I got those skills by writing the code.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So what happens when you skip that part is what I
Well,
wonder.
we're gonna find out soon, Baptiste.
Yep.
Okay. Um, moving on from this one, I guess just what I might not have mentioned is obviously I have been looking at this specific issue, pull request, sorry, for years, it being our oldest. So I do have lots of context that the PR in its current stage definitely isn't gonna work for us. And there's definitely a new approach that I suspect will help. So it's not just like, oh, I think someone else should take a look at it. It's also, I felt like this was way too much bash scripting for our needs. And I'm sure that Scott would feel the same and will be happy to see someone else have a go at this. Hopefully, that other person does it right.
And was this before or after we started using GitHub Actions for most of our CI jobs?
I think after my understanding is the problem ish we have with GitHub actions is just since it's used for our like multi-version support compatibility test matrix, um, the quota we have there runs fast, and I think because of this we haven't invested into it enough to like orchestrate the CI steps so that we'd have some checks first and others later. But definitely, as far as I know, we're really happy with Circle CI, but it's also definitely possible that if we wanted to invest more time into CI, we would want to consolidate. Though, for other reasons, I do feel like it's nice to not be reliant on a single provider.
No, I think I mean I was talking about in terms of saving up resources. We would save up even like a lot more resources by doing the same thing for our GitHub Actions.
Oh, we already do. It's not necessarily to the fullest extent possible, but we do already have lots of build skipping logic in GitHub Actions. I think. uh, Skip? No. Ignore?
Only? Oh yeah, ignore. Yeah.
Perhaps ignore, yeah. Obviously, it could be way more refined than this, but as you mentioned, there's lots of risks there if you ignore too much. Um, yeah, maybe someday we will have contributors to invest the time. I'd really like us to publish our GitHub Actions metrics a bit more so that we can also report on the carbon impact of CI. Um, it's definitely like not tremendous compared to other types of computing, but it's not nothing either. It's fair bits of time on a yearly basis spent building and rebuilding the project. So yeah, I'm hoping that someday we'll look at like more drastic optimizations. Let's do one more triage.
Sure.
Baptiste, do you want to make an executive decision on whether we look at oldest or newest or some other filter?
Midlist.
Midlist? We just like go for page 3 or 4?
Sure.
Okay. Page
I,
3.
I
Let's...
hope one of these isn't mine.
We can look at your pull request if you want.
No, I don't think I have open one.
So we have pull requests that are not from that long ago that have pretty clear states. And I think lots of these we're definitely happy to wait for contributors to come back to them within that kind of time frame. I felt like this one I had already said was a bad idea. Oh no, okay, it's a different take on it. So this definitely needs review. And at a glance, this definitely looks reasonable enough. So we'll assign me. Okay, let's do one more. Let's try out our fancier triage setup where we look at needs decision maybe? Oh, we don't have any needs decision. What the hell?
Is this list up to date?
It's always up to date, but it's only pull requests.
Okay.
Do you want to look at let's look at a needs decision issue for a change. That'll be an interesting one to end on. Do you feel like making decisions, Baptiste?
Sure.
Oh, this one, you know way more about it than I
No,
would.
close it for sure. No, sorry, you can click on it.
I'm just looking for something that we can unpack without it taking a whole hour. Ooh, enhanced block previews. I know someone who's worked lots on block previews.
It wasn't me.
Oh, why does the status icon need alternative text? Okay. Let's look at this one. I feel like you both have come across this and can educate me in the process. You can really fuck up your site if you delete a page that's really high up the tree, in particular the root page. And I feel like generally speaking, we try and have some guardrails for situations like this that really can put you in a bad state. So I think basically here the idea is to have an extra guardrail for this situation. And
I don't see why this needs a design decision. I thought it's pretty reasonable.
yeah,
Let's
the
do-
problem that I have is here, someone says, oh, we should have on delete cascade. And someone says, oh, we should have on delete protect.
Yeah.
And I've never had to make the judgment call on these two myself. My,
Hmm.
ORM usage is way simpler than this. And, I could probably get up to speed, but I think we need someone with more experience of the nuances. It seems like we all agree what change needs to happen, but literally we have cascade, set null, and protect all in the same discussion. So
Well, if I'm reading this right, this person is not suggesting to use Cascade. They're saying we currently have Cascade, which is the source of this issue, because Cascade means that when
oh
you delete it,
yeah,
it
sorry,
cascades.
I got
I think the two
confused.
options are set null or protect.
Yeah, my bad. You're right.
So see, yeah, that's like a 30% cost saving already in the number of possible options. Went from 3 to 2. My gut feeling is I don't see the argument for set no.
You expand?
As you said, if you delete the root page of your site, that's a big that has big consequences. And set no would just not prevent any of these consequences.
Yeah, you'd have to do lots more updating
Whereas
of the code to handle that.
protect would simply not allow you to do it. I guess the question is there a scenario where you would want to delete the root page? And I can't think of one, but
I mean, if you want to delete the site,
yeah, but then would just delete the whole database.
no, but if you have multi-sites
Yeah,
and you want to delete one site,
Well, that would work because you just delete the site first and then you can delete the root page if it's
that's
protected.
yes, that's what Andy is saying. It feels that it's more likely to get in people's way, so that you have to do that in the right order. You have to either unset the site's root page first, or delete the site first, and then delete the root page, making it has to be a two-step process instead of just one. So it's yeah, whether you want to prevent making like deleting the page and the site accidentally, or at the cost of um, getting in the way of people who absolutely know what they're doing. I guess if there is a way to just, have a warning, but on the same page has a confirmation that says, yes, that's what I want, so that it doesn't become a two-step process where you have to do one thing and another, and it's just, but it still prevents accidental deletion.
Doesn't deleting the page already gives you a warning?
Yes, but I guess it doesn't specifically say that it's the root page of a site.
So would that be the way forward to add an extra logic on the page deletion? Uh,
Template.
yeah.
Maybe.
yeah, and I guess it might be a matter of permissions as well, where some users might have permission to delete pages, but not to delete the sites. What's a permission model like again? No. Yeah, so you could imagine someone having wide-ranging permissions to mess with pages, but no permission to edit site records. So in some sense, you would be saying that only the people, I guess there's a case there where you make it so only the people who can edit site records can do this kind of deletion. Um, I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer there, but I guess we can respond along the lines of beyond the database level check, there needs to be quite clear messaging in the UI, whether it's a warning or like explaining the two-step process. And maybe in that mindset, the actual like database level configuration doesn't matter as much.
I mean, if you want to support deleting a site by deleting its root page, then
Yeah,
you have to have cascade, or well, have
yeah.
to, but that's
It's just like I think the actual deleting is quite a rare scenario compared when definitely when you have it, like you'll go through any steps as long as they're clear enough. Whereas the preventing doesn't rely on what the database says anyway.
there is a permission issue, which I'm assuming if you have permission to delete pages, but not sites, deleting the root page would still delete the site regardless of your permissions. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a permission bypass issue.
Do you think we should investigate that specifically more?
As you said, it's probably like a 0.1%. Because I think in practice, the people you trust with deleting pages probably already have high trust. So it's probably quite rare to have permission to delete pages, but not sites. I assume at this point you're kind of like probably super user, most likely. But it's technically a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason this is an old issue, and it's like it's tricky. It's because there's not a clear right answer here. I think it depends on your use case. Depends, like in a single site context, which seems to me like it's the most common deployment. The I think it's quite different than in a multi-site context, because in a single site context, you never want to delete your site, right? Like
That would be bad.
that'd be really bad. In the multi-site, it's still bad, but it's more. I could be convinced that this is an actual use case, and so you already like have a fork in there, and then yeah, it's trying to be a framework where you support many people's quite different scenario. Um, it's yeah.
And you know what trips us up even more, Baptiste, when in those decisions is also deciding what to do for people who have misconfigured their project one way or another. There's a whole other degree of nuance there of exactly how much you wanna do the right thing despite the permissions model being configured wrong or stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, writing
Maybe
software is not easy.
maybe we should have like 3 confirmation screens. Like, do you mean it? Yes. Do you really mean it? Yes. There will be consequences. Are you sure that you mean it?
Please
Well,
retype
anyway.
the title of your root page before deleting the.
Yeah, the title of your root page translated in Indonesian. Or as emoji. That'd be a fun one.
That would be the ID of your root page. ID being the language code for Indonesia.
And on that note, I think it's a wrap for this edition of the Wagtail Review. Do we have like a outro jingle?
It's just Wagtail weekly review backwards. That's probably like you're right.